So I hopped in a custom match to see how your orbs affect your teammates. I got Doctor Strange in here just because homie had a lot of health, and a Namor just because it had controlled shots. Each time I'm having Namor shoot Doctor Strange 5 times with body shots, right? So I'm showing the difference between spamming the orbs compared to just controlled fire of the orbs. Now, obviously, it's going to be a different scenario when you're actually walking around and running around, and your teammates are running around and walking around, because, you know, if they're walking to the left while you're shooting straight, the orb's going to go by them a lot quicker. But ultimately, the thing that I'm trying to test out here is the effectiveness of the healing in general, with like controlling bursting your orbs, because you have so much time. Like, if you're just doing heal bot stuff like this, the orbs are going all over, and that's great. You know, you're helping out in that kind of fashion. But if you're a little bit closer and you're able to if you're able to control how many orbs you're putting out, instead of pumping out all 8 orbs that you have,
You're welcome. Good medicine.
right? And then having to force yourself to reload if you want any more heals just to heal up this one dude. If you're able to do this, you're only using 3 orbs. And you have plenty of downtime in between when you're shooting those orbs to be able to get the maximum effectiveness, which means you can get damage off during that time. So you can see the difference between controlled shots and bursts here. And as you can see, like, I definitely took a bit of a break in between the controlled shots, right? So theoretically, if I pumped it out at exactly the same amount, I think the healing is just about the same. I really think it's just about the same. I'm just not, like, as soon as I see the orb disappear, I'm not immediately shooting. But I think if you get the timing down right, which just comes with experience, you could theoretically heal just as fast with controlled as you do with burst. It's kind of like having, it's kind of like doing bunny hops when you put the jump on a scroll wheel, right? It's a lot easier to bunny hop if you are using a scroll wheel for your jump, because you have a lot more moments to be able to hit that exact timing. It's not impossible. I mean, you see Spider-Man's, for instance, being able to do bunny hopping things with their spacebar, right? And getting that timing down just right. So it's not impossible, but if they could just have that on a scroll wheel the entire time, it would probably make it a whole lot easier in a lot of respects. You know what I mean? Just to be able to get that bunny hop. So I think that's the biggest difference that you're seeing between controlled and burst, because as far as seeing the actual health go up, it looks like it's about the same if you have good timing as far as when you're putting out the orbs. The biggest difference that you're going to get here is on the right-hand side, you're just heal botting. You're just shooting out orbs. There's nothing else that you're able to do in between. And once you shoot 8 times, you have to reload, right? However, on the left-hand side, it gives you plenty of time to be able to put in some extra damage, especially when you're up close, and that helps out so much. Especially if you're in a small environment, like a closed-in environment or environment with walls, which there are plenty of environments that have really good walls for rockets, right? You can pump out a couple of orbs. You can even pump out like 2 orbs, right? Let it do its thing, give it a second, and once you stop seeing green on your crosshairs, like once you stop seeing this green, or you stop hearing that audio cue, then you can just pump out another orb or 2 and continue to help out with fighting with your team. This is super strong against dive. It's super strong when you are diving yourself, which I think is like one of the biggest things that you can do with Rocket, is actually dive in with your team. And I think it just leads to a lot more opportunities for Rocket to be able to have an impact on the fight than just staying way far in the back and just pumping out orbs the entire time. I'm not saying that the bursting and the heal botting isn't helpful for the team. I just think that there's more that you can do with him than just sit in the back, find a high up angle, and shoot down orbs the entire time. Again, this is all super situational as far as when you would want to do certain things, but it all kind of plays in to how I was reimagining how you could play Rocket in the first place, which leads me into this match.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
So we're going to go through and watch the Rocket game that I had where I got those stats. Let's jump to it actually starting off.
You have to stop them from securing the mission area. The battle starts in 5, 4,
A little bit of an audio bug here.
2, 1.
So honestly, a big part of what I was doing here is I was just testing out the crosshair, and I was trying to grind for some points so I could get the new rocket skin, so I could start making some other videos, but with the skin, because I feel like people are looking for the skin as well, you know, that type of thing. Generates a little bit of conversation. So I wasn't really going into this expecting anything different. It kind of was like halfway through when I took a look at my damage, and I was like, oh wow, I'm actually doing things. Let me continue on with this, because I don't feel like my healing's really going down either. So just some like context as far as where my mind was at with it. It is a 1, 2, 3 support on the enemy team, and then a 2 support on our team. It's a 1 tank, 3 DPS, and 2 healer comp versus a 2, 1, 3. So 1 DPS on their side with 2 tanks.
For a king.
You're welcome.
Again, just kind of seeing
This is a nice spot. Oh,
terrible placement there. Absolutely fumbled.
they do not look happy.
I've done that. I do that a couple of times this match. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. There's a couple of times during this that like I throw my ult in the worst place, or I throw my my BRB in the worst place. I'm not really thinking too hard. I'm not really trying too hard in this match. I'm just like, I'm really just out here just trying to grind out some fucking points. So again, I'm seeing my, here's a perfect example. I'm seeing my my Venom getting hop. Wait, no. So I see the Venom hopping on our team here, right? And I see them all attacking him, and I get it. There's 3 people on him. Theoretically, he should be fine and like be able to die here. Hold on. How do I hop onto the thing real quick? Controls. Free camera, follow camera. Okay. Oh, interesting. I'm still learning how this goes. So, theoretically, with having 3 DPS on him here, like, he should die. But we also know how, like, DPS winds up happening, and it doesn't always work out to the best. You know what I mean? So, let me find myself here. So we're able to take him out right there in the very beginning, which is super helpful. Finally get my BRB back in the right spot.
You're welcome.
When I saw him hopping on us in the back, I did bring it back up because I knew my BRB was in the wrong spot, and I knew if I took it back quicker, right? You have this little health indicator on the left-hand side. If it goes down any, it adds time to the cooldown, right? But if you take it back immediately, then it's only a 5-second cooldown. So, try to see when I actually take it back.
You're welcome.
Here, sending out some heals. Again, that thing's there. I
This is a
bonk
nice
it.
spot.
It's in a really bad position here. I see Venom hop on it, and I immediately pull it back, right? Because I know Venom's not going to be able to kill anybody within 5 seconds, right? Now, if there is a DPS that's jumping in the back or anything, it's more likely that 5 seconds you're going to have someone die, especially if they're a really good dive, right? So I took it back real quick, saw it was Venom. Let me put it in a better position for everybody, just in case.
Just in time.
Don't mind me.
And keeping everybody alive, helping out with damage, but then putting on my orb right there in the middle of them. They're all getting healed. Replace my BRB in a better spot. Just pumping out some orbs, helping out my team as I normally do. Another good thing that you can do as Rocket is right there. Use your weapon for taking out the enemy's like contraptions, right? Whether that's squids, whether that's Penny's little thing, whether that's like these little mines on the ground. All those different things are things that you should be doing as a support with your weapon, especially. That way your DPS can focus on the enemies, not on these things right here.
I'll patch you up. Yes. What the fuck are these things, Namor?
So in the testing, I found that bouncing it off the ground isn't really super useful, so I might stop doing that as much. But if anything, it just adds an additional bounce to be able to go in between these different areas just to get other angles. But it didn't seem to actually do anything as far as the controlled firing is concerned. It might do something more for the burst. It might do something when you're just bursting them out. As far as getting more bounces around, but it didn't really do anything as far as the direct hitting versus the bouncing. So again, I'm sending, this is where I'm kind of starting to test it out a little bit. I'm just sending him an orb up there to be able to help him out. He's currently at, you know, like a decent bit, he's at a decent bit of health here, and the orb completely healed him up while he was up there. I didn't have to send a bunch of orbs to be able to heal him up. I sent one orb, and then I'm focusing on helping the team out again.
Those guys are about to shoot at us.
Sending an orb every now and then into combat. Really just whenever I see that. Another thing that you can do as Rocket is send out an orb or two like I did right here, and then you can dive in the back to be able to help out with like support things. Especially because you see here, you got a Rocket that's heal botting, right? Personally, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a bit of a dickhead. I like jumping on enemy rockets because I think it's funny. Like at the end, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we're all Rocket mains, we love each other, but at the same time, like, I'm the Rocket, you know what I mean? That kind of idea. So I'm hopping on him to be able to get him off the high ground for one. So he's going to be in a more vulnerable situation because a lot of Rocket players, or a lot of people who are in the back and heal botting, they're probably not going to know how to use their weapon or not be ready to use their weapon, because they just like, oh, I'm just the healer. I'm just the support. I'm going to stay in the back and I'm just going to send out heals to everybody. But very few of them actually know how to fight. And that's a crucial skill to have. So if he knew what he was doing here, then he should be able to fight back. But he doesn't, so he runs away. He's like, oh shit, I'm getting shot. Let me go. Let me jump out of my spot here. But he then puts himself in such a vulnerable situation. So he dashes through over here, and he's going to have to bounce orbs to be able to get through here just because of his height difference in like ledges and stuff.
You're welcome.
So again, sending some orbs out. I'm also getting some shots off, try to take that high ground, taking out some of the mines here. I noticed that the team's not doing super hot. This is a terrible ult. Never do this. One of my DPS was down. God, where is everybody else at? Actually, now that I think about it. So one of my DPS is down. Another one of my mouse. Hold on. What's the camera thing? Is it C? Why is my mouse not working? Oh, here we go. Okay, so like one of my DPS is down. This DPS is super lit. And then my other DPS is way at spawn. Me putting this here was so dumb. It was me, a tank, and another support. And this support is pretty much just like trying to heal our tank, right? Not really doing like anything else, just trying to heal the tank. This is a bad ult. All right, don't take from this. Don't take from this. This is just really bad. What am I, 6? No. There we go. What am I, 8? Am I 8? No, I'm 7. 7. Cool.
This is real fire.
So pumping out some heals, and I go down there. Go down to Venom and mines going out. Just really bad play, bad positioning, etc., etc. It's not good to take from. So they continue to do all that. All right, now I come back. Let me skip ahead a little bit here.
You're ready for
Sending some orbs over to the homies.
I was in trouble.
All right, we're about to re-engage. I like tossing in that corner there. Kind of hides in the tree, but still dispenses some stuff out from the sides. Taking out some of the mine, just trying to get some additional damage over there. Not only to build ult charge, but just to like direct their attention away from that little choke area. Getting dove on by Venom, that's fine. I just get out of there really quickly. Popping out some more damage. Heals every so often out there.
This is real firepower.
And I'm just kind of figuring this out right now. Again, not smart for me to shoot the ult here. I'm just kind of like AFK braining. I'm not expecting this match to actually be anything, you know. It's a quick play. I'm shooting some orbs out. And mind you, at this moment, right, where I'm at 2,500 damage and 3k healing, right? So obviously I can't see everybody's stats the entire time, but you can see the difference between me and my Cloak and Dagger. My Cloak and Dagger has a lot more heals, but the homie did ult, and Cloak and Dagger ult is crazy when it comes to being able to do heals. But I am not only keeping up, but I'm beating everyone on the enemy team for heals as well right now. So again, just directing her attention away, I'm able to send out orbs prior to hopping on their backline. So that's one of the things that you can do as Rocket. You can send out orbs to be able to heal your team, right? And it's just bouncing all over, healing your team. Meanwhile, you're in the back line, making sure that the enemy aren't getting their supports heals, right?
I'll patch you up.
I'm not even necessarily always going over there to kill them. A lot of the times I'm just going over there just to disrupt them, right? Here I'm supporting my Star-Lord to make sure that he can guarantee get the kill. Sending up a couple of heals while I'm taking that out. Again, just focusing big targets like Penny Parker. Super useful. Let me toss my BRB, realize I had it again. Just get it out of the way. I know that Venom's looking at me because I'm like shooting him. So he's like, ooh, he's a target. But I'm just gonna kind of give him the rope around, climb out of there and get out. I realize my team is getting back in there, so I'm gonna re-engage with my ult. Again, hopping on the back. I know that they have the Namor there, so I'm gonna take a couple shots at him. Any bit to be able to take it off of my team while I'm just sending them heals. I'm giving my team some support here. I can't see anything, so I'm just gonna pop out some heals just in case, because I can't see them, so might as well pop out some heals. I see my Logan going in the back there, my Wolverine going to the back, so I try to send him some orbs, but he just gets blown up. Really good to be able to support your divers when you have Rocket on your team, because you can send orbs in places where other healers just can't heal. Again, just taking out the squids, taking out the little tiny things to help out the team. Almost died to a mine. Questionable ult from the Venom there, but, you know, is what it is. Kind of back up a bit. They used ult here. They applied vulnerable. Just not a good fight to be able to get yourself too heavily invested into. I have my BRB, so I pop it off to the side. It's really not a great spot, though. I was trying to have it go a lot further back. With it being out there in the open, you can see that's already... it just goes down pretty much instantly. I try to pull it back. I do pull it back right at the last second, which makes it, instead of a 45-second cooldown, a 25-second cooldown, right? It's very minor, super minor. Obviously, you still want it for this situation with all these different ults happening, with all this fighting happening. You want it available. That was a misplay overall. However, that slight bit of recovery time is very crucial. Because sometimes you just can't control the fact that someone is going to hop over and try to take out your like focus your BRB. You know what I mean? So being able to pull it back not only will waste the enemy's time, but it will save you some time as far as when you can get it back, even if they do some damage to it. So I pop my ult here to be able to counter engage. Basically, they popped their ult, they pushed, and they weren't super successful with it. So I'm saying, okay, let's take advantage of this. I pop my ult. This is just high enough here, right, that it's going to affect the people over here, but it's not so high that everyone here is just going to shoot at it while like all this stuff is going on. So it's just high enough, you can see, to be able to reach these guys, and it goes all the way around this range here. I take out the squids from my homie while I send some orbs. So right there, perfect example. I wound up sending some orbs over. I send orbs forward for my magic to be able to get heals while I'm also taking out those squids. So that way she doesn't have to worry about that, but she does get heals still. That's a situation where, again, the burst is not super necessary. Just having a controlled fire, very helpful. As Rocket, I can also run around quite a bit, so I'm going over here to chase this Penny. She has no idea that I'm right there. I just jump on her, and I help out my magic to make sure we secure the kill. Put my BRB back. It's probably better to put it down further so it doesn't just immediately get shot, but it is what it is. I get the Punisher off the high ground there, me and Wolverine. He's threatened, so he hops down. Sending some orbs at the ground also to heal myself. Rocket can heal himself, which is a huge plus. Not every support can heal themselves, so take advantage of the fact that you can. Also, a big thing I like to do is I really try to make sure that my other support or supports are able to stay up. I noticed that she was getting jumped in the back. I keep a constant thought on my fellow support, because I know that as Rocket, typically you're not like the main healer. I think that in certain situations you definitely can be, but it's not as efficient, right? I know that Cloak and Dagger is like our main healer, right? So I would definitely want to be able to keep her up. And while everybody is off doing their own thing, I'm able to help out our support by being supportive for our support. You know what I mean? Again, just staying up in the air. I know that Venom's coming over, so I'm trying to keep myself up in the air as much as possible. Sending some orbs over to Cloak and Dagger. She can't get healed when she is in like the cloak shadow form or whatever, so I don't even bother to send an orb up there. Just sending some orbs and shooting. Again, taking out that spider nest. Just helping out the team, you know, especially with a bunch of melee characters, they just can't do it. I'm keeping an eye on my team's health. I could just be in the back and like keep on shooting orbs, right? But you notice that entire time that we're shooting and we're pushing by, there's only a couple of people here who have not like decent health, you know, like it's pretty much just Wolverine actually. Like this is still pretty fine. So I'm just helping out with damage whenever possible. And you get the best damage from Rocket when you are up close and personal. So it's definitely worth like trying to be up close. And if they do start hopping on you, you have dashes to get out. You stick by walls, you can wall dash, and you can get out of those sticky situations.
This is real!
So I ulted forward here. I forgot if this is actually useful or not. I typically like to put my ult behind the enemies because that way my team can push forward onto them, you know?
Firepower! This is real!
I take advantage of the fact that I have that damage boost and I can directly like engage with the Punisher there so he stops shooting at my team. Again, it like he did a really good job at being able to get out of that situation, right? Did a really good job at being able to get out of that situation alive by smoking me off and then having other people direct their focus onto me. So I still go after him, right? But once I realize that's a lost fight and I can't push forward anymore, I get out of there. I get hit by a penny mine, but no worry, I'm sticking by the wall so I can climb out of there really quickly. I put my BRB back so during the fight. You don't want to just always just keep it out typically, I find, like, because sometimes like you'll get your BRB used and you need it for situations like this, right? Like for instance, our homie just like we are technically down someone right now, right? Because our dude just died. Even though he has ult, he died, right? So they're like, oh, okay, bet. Let's use our ult here. Let's make sure that we maintain this space and we'll push forward back onto them. But you know, our homie just got revived, right? Our Star-Lord just got revived and has ult. And they just use support ult to try to be aggressive. So Punisher starts pushing with his ult. I think it's actually pretty effective, but Star-Lord comes back in. He's able to take out the Invisible Woman, able to take out the Punisher, because again, they weren't expecting him to be able to come back. As Rocket, you're really good at healing characters in the air, so I try to send a couple orbs his way, but he dashes like way off into the side, and I'm just not able to get it there in time. Getting jumped on by the Venom. Again, just pumping out some damage. I don't need to just constantly heal my homie there. We can just do damage. Rocket headshots are also absolutely insane. If you're make sure you're aiming for the crit spots. Otherwise, you're not going to be doing nearly as much damage. Like 2 times the damage for crits. It's ridiculous. So I have my ult here. I'm going to put my BRB there. It's a really bad spot again. Just not really thinking too well, too much on it. I put it out there and I took it back because I immediately knew it was dumb. Just kind of like a panic BRB moment. But I get it back in a couple seconds anyway. So I used my ult to counter their ult because I didn't see any defensive ults on the enemy team. So I took advantage of the fact that there wasn't any defensive ults, and I gave my team a fighting chance as well to just be able to re-engage on it, and we actually wound up coming out on top. I threw my BRB pretty close to everything, just again as a just-in-case kind of situation. I'm climbing up into the back, and I'm harassing the back line a bit, just so they take a little bit extra time to think before they start moving forward, and they don't just start rolling us too hard.
You're welcome.
Just sending out some orbs to my team. I'm sending out some damage too. And mind you, at this point, let's see, what am I at? I'm at the bottom there. So at this point, you know, I got 10k damage. I've only died the one time in the very beginning, and I have 12k heals. So again, I'm keeping up like relatively decently with the heals compared to the enemy team. I'm not going to be able to keep up with the heals compared to our cloak and dagger, but our cloak and dagger is pretty much just healing. You know what I mean? Which is good, you know, very effective at healing and a lot of great ways to be able to do it. But I'm not going to be able to compete with that when that's her main focus. Sending some shots into the venom also helps build ult while you're healing too, so you can get ult really quickly here. I noticed that he's standing in a bubble, so because he's standing in a bubble, I'm not going to also pump heals into him right now because she's focusing him down with the heals. So I'm going to send it over to the Star-Lord up top. Star-Lord also realizes he needs to come to his team to be able to help out. As soon as I hear the ult, I go up in the air because he has a harder time hitting me in the air. Venom's tassels are very long, so I usually dash upward or towards a wall so that way I can crawl out of it. Making sure I take advantage of the fact that I can get those health packs as well. And I throw my BRB in the back there. It saves our homie. It saves our magic. I pick up the armor as well. Always good to just have some extra armor on you. You know, 275 health. It might not seem like much, but it helps out for a lot of one-shot combos. And if you can grab it, grab it. So I have my ult here. I know that we're going to be able to engage here. I see that Venom is going up in the air, so I'm going to get out of his way so he doesn't just jump on me. I ult forward because I know that we have they cloak and dagger ulted. I knew that our cloak and dagger was going to ult. So I ulted forward to make sure that we could have a fair fighting chance here. Again, just harassing their rocket. Able to pick up the kill there as well, which is super useful. Now they're down one support. Throw a BRB in the back. I don't know if it actually revives anyone. Using the wall to be able to get out of there. That was a really close situation. Yeah, I was able to revive our support, which is huge. Huge here. So they're back in the fight. I'm just kind of crawling around being a nuisance. I probably would have died there at the very end there. But regardless, they hopped off the point and we won it. Oh, sorry. No, sorry. They hopped off the point and we lost it. So we didn't win this game. We didn't win this game. I know it's a little anticlimactic. You would expect, oh, okay, well, he's showing us this video. Clearly he won. No, I did get SVP, and that's kind of nice. Oh, the thing kind of blocking it. I did get SVP, so which is nice, right? We didn't win. It was like right at the last second. We just kind of hopped off the point, and they just overall were able to pull it out. Like they had the better meta here. You know what I mean? 3 support right now is just really huge meta wise, so they were able to pull it out and take over with that. But and just like DP, I mean, damage wise, like, I mean, you see this and everything. It's not great. It's not great. There are a whole lot of reasons here, but I so genuinely don't believe it was because of the Rocket gameplay, right? I know a lot of people like to blame Rocket for the reason of XYZ, right? But I think especially with this insight, it should be able to inspire a lot of like Rocket players to be able to try things out a little bit differently. I really genuinely believe that Rocket is getting played in a way that like people are just expecting him to play, like the heal bot style, right? However, I definitely think that there is more to the character than what the community assumes that there is. It takes a little bit more finesse. It takes a little bit more thinking involved to be able to make him work in this type of fashion. But I do think that he has a lot of viability, right? I still think that they could buff him up a bit and modify certain things of him, like projectile speed. Honestly, I think that he does fine with damage. I just think that the biggest issues are the projectile speed and the damage range, like the fall off, right? When you are within 10 meters of a target, you are doing great damage. Like you are actually able to keep up damage wise. It's just whenever you get past that 10-meter range, like it will double in how many shots you need to be able to hit, even crits, right? To be able to kill something. And that's very detrimental because you see a lot of rockets getting up to high places and just pumping orbs down. So there's no point in them doing any damage or trying to do any damage, because it's going to do like pennies worth of damage, right? But if you are able to be up close and personal, get those heals off while you're there with your team, especially in a dive situation, or if you're all grouped up and you're just trying to pump out some heals to your team while you're doing damage, being able to be up in the front line is actually so helpful for Rocket, because if anything does go wrong, yes, you only have 250 health and that is unfortunate, but if anything does wind up going wrong, you can dash out relatively easily, right? The biggest thing is that when you're playing up and you're focusing on this type of play style, you really want to stick by walls, because you want to be able to do wall dash stuff. I'm going to be making a video. It should pop up here at the very end of this video. That will be more of a movement guide. So if you aren't aware of the wall dashing or how to maximize the movement potential with Rocket, definitely check that video out. It'll be up very soon, hopefully. If you guys liked the video, obviously hit all the buttons, do all the different things that YouTubers ask for you to do. Subscribing would be super helpful. It supports the channel so much. If you want to see early access content, you can also join. But it's not a necessary thing to be able to enjoy the content around here. If you want to hang out with the people in the Discord, we got a great community here. Link is in the description. If you want to be able to watch me live, link is in the description. Whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, wherever you want to be able to watch, it should be down there. And thank you so much. Go check out some of the other videos, especially if you love Rocket gameplay and other guides and things like that. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and until next time, continue exploring, Smith.